I say, Pastor, he's not lasting. I say, what's the scriptural constitutional amount of time a man is supposed to last? Where did you get that from? You see, it's
such as, is oral sex permissible? Especially as... Hello again, dear bloomers. I need to get first thing very clear. Now, I got my counseling certificate from Pastor Kinsley, so don't get it twisted about my review of this particular message. But I think that it is important that we all, as the Bible says, that iron sharpeneth iron. So I think it's important that we sharpen each other and we become better. I have two major places where I have an issue with, the sermon that he preached. I don't know if I should call it a sermon or his teaching. The very first part that I want to talk about is this one.
marriage. I say, Pastor, he's not lasting. I say, what's the scriptural constitutional amount of time a man is supposed to last? Where did you get that from? You see, it's your experience. You're comparing him to Olympic marathon runner. Meanwhile, he's a sprinter. Go back and look for a boyfriend while you're married. And these are things I deal with. It's not uncommon, trust me. It's not as uncommon as you think. This was going on in many marriages. Say his size is not big enough. What's the constitutional scriptural size, please? Recommended size. I know your generation, you talk about sexual compatibility. How can I myself? I don't even know if I'm sexually compatible. There's no such thing as sexual compatibility. There's only sexual commitment. It's two people committed to each other. God never intended that two people will always be in the mood for sex at the same time. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. And they will not have the same energy level at the same time. In fact, as a man grows older and a woman grows older, their energy levels change. A woman hits her sexual peak around 30. A man hits it around 20. By the time a man is hitting 40, he's cooling down. His testosterone levels are dropping. A woman's own is picking up.
Let's be clear on what compatibility means to make a relationship work. It does not mean that you need to marry someone who's absolutely the same with you. We're talking about being compatible. We're not talking about being twins. We're not talking about being similar. We're talking about being compatible. We're talking about your difference and my difference are so beautiful that when we merge together, we create something beautiful, something whole, something healthy.
Compatibility is more like understanding where the differences are, making compromises, and then A and B come together and become something greater, more powerful, and much more effective. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean that the two of you are matching each other skill for skill, energy for energy, schedule for schedule. That's not what compatibility is. Do I believe in sexual compatibility? Absolutely, I do. Now listen to me. It is not the act of the sex that I feel that you should be compatible. However, I think there's something called the values surrounding the sexual activity or the sexual act itself that you have to be compatible. You cannot imagine how many couples have had very major frictions in their relationship or in the bedroom because of issues that are related to things such as, is oral sex permissible, especially as Christians or very conservative people, even Muslims, or sex positions, as you can see in this text, where actually people say you're not going to go as far as saying you're not going to make heaven if you engage in certain sexual positions, or even the use of sexual toys. Now, if your values are not compatible in this area, then there are going to be major issues. Scheduling around sexual acts can be much more easily talked about and compromised. Look, I'm tired, let's do this later. I was in traffic all day, I need to rest and all of that. Those things can, even at age, age, like he said, age varies for people. As men get older, they don't really, they're not so gish anymore. The women that are very, very selective about when they want to have it, they start to peak and their libido affects men and women differently as age sets in. So the scheduling part can always be compromised. You can talk about it, but these values, these foundations of what is permissible in the bedroom is where a lot of people have issues. Values and beliefs are the major headaches for a lot of couples, and that they are major points of controversy. That it is much more difficult to convince some people. There are some men who will tell you, when it comes to oral sex, I am never going to put my mouth in a place where a woman bleeds from. And they mean it. And rather than change their mindset, they rather end that relationship than actually compromise in that area. So sexual compatibility, especially in the area of values, is very, very important. I have a series at the moment that's going on called the School of Compatibility or Compatibility series, where I talked about the different areas of compatibility that are very important if your relationship is going to last. You might want to check that video out, and it will bless you. Now, the second area where I have an issue with, when he said women are more emotional than men.
Women are powerful in every other area. The only area they struggle a lot is emotionally. And it's not your fault. Scientifically, it has been, I say this a lot, but some people think it's just saying, but scientifically it has been proven that women are generally more emotional than men. Some people don't like that, but it's a fact. Women are more emotional. In fact, they've drawn diagrams of the brain of a man and a woman, and they've shown that a man's brain, emotion is just two spots. Two spots like this, and they are locked. It means that he has to be conscious to release it. Only certain things, especially when it comes to dealing with another human being. He's emotional about politics, so he's emotional about sports, but wife doesn't release emotion. But they check the woman's brain, the whole brain is covered by emotions. So even things that she should not be emotional about, she's emotional about. That's why you guys can cry easily. Even things that doesn't need crying.
There is often a mix-up in the definition of emotions, of being emotional. Emotions are feelings that we feel. Emotional is an expression of the emotions that we are feeling. All of us, man and woman alike. Now, I'll tell you that broadly speaking, there are about 7 major emotions that people feel. Now, if you're a man listening or if you're a woman listening, tell me if you have never felt any one of these emotions before. Fear, joy, sadness, disgust, surprise, contempt, anger. These are the 7 major emotions that all of us experience. However, the major area where a man can differ from a woman is in the area of being emotional and be emotional expression. Okay? Because while men are more emotionally suppressive, women are more emotionally expressive. But they do feel all of these emotions. And suppression is also a response to emotion. Some people feel pain and they scream and they shout. Other people feel pain and they're like, they're expressing the pain, but in different ways. Some express it quietly, some others express it more loudly. But we are all experiencing and expressing pain, but at different levels and at different intensities. I read an article here, which I'm going to put, make sure that it's showing on the screen, so you can see this article with me. It's actually, so according to what the article says here, the article is from the National Library of the National Library of Medicine. It says here, the title of that article is "Gender and Emotion Expression: A Developmental Contextual Perspective." Yeah, and the top part of that emotion in the abstract part of it, right under the keywords, it says that several research studies and meta-analysis have shown small but significant gender differences in the expression of emotion in adulthood. With women showing greater emotion expression overall, and in particular for positive emotions, and internalizing negative emotions such as sadness and anxiety, but with men expressing greater levels of aggression and anger than women. While men express anger and aggression, women express emotions, a different kind of emotion than men. Okay? Women who is more prone to say cry when they feel sadness or loneliness or happiness. Women are more likely to scream and leap for joy, and when they're sad, they're more likely to cry and seek comfort from a loved one or from their partner. That's a woman. However, when men are sad, what do? More often, they withdraw, and they are more likely to seek other means of relieving their pain and sadness. And that's why you find that more men become alcoholics or they use drugs when they are feel going through sadness or pain or loneliness, or they feel deserted. So they express it in negative ways. Women let it out. They cry, but both parties are being emotional. Okay? Men are also, they are more prone to contempt and to anger and to seek revenge when provoked. Who is more likely to act out when they are jealous and they feel like somebody has cheated on them? That is why it is much more difficult for a man to take a woman who cheated on him back into a relationship. Women could forgive, let the guy back and give him 1, 2, 3, 4 chances. If a man even gives a woman another chance, I'm pretty darn sure it's not going to be more than 1 if he lets it go at all. Okay, so crying is not the only definition of being emotional. That's just what I'm saying. Anger is an emotion. Contempt is an emotion. So when people cry, that's not the only way people are being emotional. Which is why for so long it's been said that, oh, women are more emotional because they tend to cry more. No, that's not true. Okay, all of us hurt, but all of us choose different ways of expressing our emotional pain or feelings that we are going through. Those are just the 2 major areas I just wanted to point out. Other than that, it was a beautiful sermon and I enjoyed every moment of it. I'll see you in another video. Stay blessed.